We're delighted now to be joined on the Star Sport podcast by three members of the history-making O'Donovan Rossa team that won the County Junior B Hurling Championship back in 2004. Here with Alan Foley, Flor, Crowley and Rob Long. First to you, Alan, can you believe 20 years? Where's that time gone?
It's hard to really like, I suppose, and the gas thing is when you look at the screen, the three of us are still playing. So I suppose it's nearly early in a way to be looking back because I suppose you kind of tend to look back at these things when you're finished. But I suppose I hope we've a couple of years left in us. But yeah, it crept up out of nowhere. Just Flor got on to me a couple of months ago saying, 20 years is coming up now. We want to do something about it. And that's where the whole kind of the genesis came really. Like, it's gas to think that it was 20 years ago, but yeah, it was very special to mark no last weekend, I must say. It was a super weekend.
It's class. And in fairness, you've acted like I'm holding my hand. It could have been a kind of a match. You put together like almost a match program for your reunion there the weekend before last. And it's a really high quality product. And I see, Flor, you called it Kings of November. And I think that's a really apt headline. You're putting me under pressure in the star anyway with your
Yeah.
headline and your writing. But Kings of November, because you are the Kings of Skibbereen back then, like 20 years ago, like the first Skibbereen team to win to win this title. Like, what memories come back to you when you think about 2004?
I suppose we were kind of chasing this dream for a long time. We had lost three West Cork finals leading up to it. And we'd seen a lot of the teams that had beaten us in the years before getting on to win county finals. Randalls had beaten us in 2000. Cullums had beaten us the year before in 2003. So, we knew we were good enough. We knew we had a good enough team. And I think it kind of almost that heartbreak has kind of bound us together. And the fact that I think we must be the only Junior B team celebrating 20 years on from winning a county title. It just shows that the bond we do have. And it's just, I think, once we got a new kind of coach involved, manager involved in Gabby, I think the belief was there, and he just gave us that little extra professional step to do what we knew we were good enough to do. And it was just a fun year. We were kind of the oddballs in the club. The club never really had a county success, a great success in hurling. It was always football. But it was year for the hurlers, like, and when we got to Páirc Uí Chaoimh, especially, that kind of was the icing on the cake to get to play in Páirc Uí Chaoimh 20 years ago. So we certainly felt like Kings in November. So, and we're still celebrating it. We're still knocking some good nights out of it, and we're milking it again here today.
They're right to celebrate it. And Rob, you were one of the kind of, I suppose, the young guns on the team back then. Like we said, you're still going strong now. But what was your recollection of when you started to break onto the O'Donovan Rossa hurling panel? Like, even, let's say, hurling within the club, like the lads said there, with a kind of heartbreaking West Cork finals before that. So what was your thinking when you got involved in the hurling side?
Yeah, sure. Like I was brought up following my brothers to the matches, so they were playing ahead of me, so I was just going to always the hurling matches anyway. And yeah, like we loved hurling, and like we play a lot of football, obviously. So playing hurling in a football stronghold, you are fighting against the tide of small, but like we had a very good team. In fairness, we had a very good panel, and we were unlucky coming into the years before, but we actually, as Fleur mentioned, we got an outside coach in 2004, and that showed really. I think that was our first time ever getting a proper, well, not a proper coach, but an outside coach from the club. So, that was obviously a statement of intent or a backing from the club that, look, we're willing to, put some resources behind you and to go after it. So we had a really strong panel, and that just brought focus then. And, like we trained really hard. We were very consistent. We trained. I remember there was two cars coming down from Cork a couple of times a week. So we put in a big effort, and it was like a breaking of a dam really in the county final above in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. We ran away with the match on the day, but we had put so much effort in throughout the year to get to that level that we were hurling well above, we were hurling strongly at that stage. So it was really a culmination of a couple of years. Really, there was we had a good crop of young lads at the time. Myself, Kevin Cotter, Michael Dan, Flurry, was a couple ahead of us, a couple of Crowleys, William Marsh. There was a good shot of us coming through with the old stagers then, or the more mature players like Alan, Ollie and Dunn and a few more of them. So Carl. So yeah, we had a good mix at the time.
Shots fired very early on, Alan.
All right,
He was
I
all
got
in.
plenty here waiting.
But even Alan, already twice now, Gabriel O'Sullivan has been mentioned. How important is he in this story? Like we said, he was an outside man brought in to kind of coach and manage the team. What was his, and Flor, you described him as our hurling messiah, kind of
That's it.
probably a huge impact on the group. Like what did he bring that you think you were missing?
Oh, he just thought he brought kind of structure from day one. Like you get into bad habits when, like with Rabbit and John are training us for years there, and you have training 7:30, and fellas that turn up at 7:30 or 25 to 8, like to be a bit casual, and it's hard for lads when they both play. I played with hurling with the lads, like, and when you're training with them, they know you. It's hard to kind of to put the foot down sometimes. When Gabby came in, he just demanded that we had to be at training at a certain time, like we had to be in the field nearly 10 minutes before it started. And it was just kind of just getting that structure. Like it was nothing special he did in training. Just there was an awful lot of talking done the trainings, like talking to different things. But like it was very simple, straightforward drills. But it was just that, like the panel was there. Like I can remember 2003 being heartbreaking. We were good enough. I felt that year to win it, but we just didn't get over the line. We played Cullums on a dirty wet day, and it suited them. And it was tough, but I think he just came in with that a bit of structure. You had regular trainings, and we all just bought into it. And like when he laid down the marker early on, we had 20 odd field players togged out before training was even due to start, and it was just that kind of structure and just getting it kind of snowballed from that there. I think like.
Like Gabriel's obviously influence was huge, and Flor, like he was taking over a team that had lost those 3 finals in 6 years. I'm looking here, right? 97 to Plunkett's, 2000 to Randall's, and then 2003 to Cullums. Like Alan said there, how tough is it to come back again and again and again from those defeats?
I suppose we were lucky in the fact that we were all kind of young, as Rob was saying there. We were kind of a young team. I was 24. Rob was a bit younger than me. With Kevin Cotter, we were a young team, like, so it wasn't that we felt this is our last year, the best years were behind us. I think we always felt, because when you're young, you're at least you can look forward and say, well, we're getting to our peak, like so. Um, it's strange enough as I think back of it, I was full sure we would do well in 2004. I was very confident, and maybe that kind of, just felt that we almost deserved to be there, like, and but I think definitely having Gabby in and all the things that Alan said there, just having that bit of discipline, that bit of structure, Gabby was coming from a higher level up with Valley Rovers, like, so he brought that bit of, he brought his passion and he brought structure to it, and I just showed we were, as Rob said, we were disciplined that year. We trained very hard, like, and it just the fruits of our labor finally showed, like, so I think that again, as I said, it was just joy then when we won the West Cork and the county final, like that we'd finally kind of, lots of teams don't get to fulfill their, potential, like, and at least we did for that group and that kind of cycle. We definitely fulfilled our potential by winning the county that year.
And Rob, even before you got to the county, there was the big matter of winning West Cork, beat Donny's in the final. I think you'd beaten, was it Mary's and James's before that? Can you remember much from the West Cork final against Donny's that day, and even the celebrations after? What was that like, getting your hands in it?
Yeah, not huge. I remember the early rounds matches. I remember the Mary's match vividly, and I remember Donny's being a tight game, right? But we had a couple of tight games that year. The semi-final was the county semi-final. We had a real humdinger. We ended up winning by 5, but that was a real tough game that day. So yeah, the big memories of winning the finals was coming home and there's bonfires out the road. Like, it's been so long since they'd won a big hurling trophy in Skibbereen, which was definitely welcomed and definitely everyone enjoyed it.
And Alan, after you became Kings of West Cork, kind of turned into the county series, like the lads mentioned there. What was your ambition going into the county series? Were you just content, or we have a West Cork now, or could you see even the mood change in the camp, saying, okay, like this isn't bonus territory, we can actually go do something here?
Just like for me, I was content with the West Cork. Really, I think we'd lost so many. Like I'd only kind of come down to Skib in '96 and started hurling '97, and it was just draw big loss after big loss. Like, and I suppose coming from a couple of lows, we got hammered in, and it just felt that we were never going to get there. So I can remember of all the West Cork games. There's the West Cork final. I remember most. I just remember just the relief of winning it. Like, and it happened a couple of days before the All Ireland final, and I can remember us all meeting up in Dublin. We'd all planned to go to Dublin anyway for the All Ireland final. Like, and it was a couple of days just in a buzzing, just simply buzzing. We're all meeting all the lads from the team. We're all wearing our skip jerseys up above in Dublin outside. That's the hotel that we used to always meet up in there. It's closed since. But we're all up there, like, and it was just a great few days. And like, I suppose everything after that was kind of a bonus. It was the West Cork for me was the one to go for, like, and everything else was just, I'd be honest, I probably would have been content with the West Cork at that stage.
And then tell me about this Ford Fiesta van that used to come down from Ballincolligan.
Food full of hurleys.
Yeah, and the stuff a legend. I when I arrived in town, first of all, like I had no transport. I arrived on a motorbike first of all. Most of us have forgotten that. So I spent the first couple of months on a motorbike, and my uncle wasn't too happy. Well, a lot of family weren't happy with me being a motorbike, so I was given a Ford Fiesta van. But I suppose a lot of young lads that were playing the team remember going to I'd take the lads to training from school. We'd go straight over to the pitch from school. So I'd put 7 or 8 fellas in the back of the van, and we'd drive over to town. And sometimes then we'd go round town towards Ballyhilty Bridge, and it was a big thrill, like, it. And they'd be all kind of egging me on, go over Ballyhilty Bridge, and we'd drop the gears and fly over it, and big jump over the bridge, like, and yeah, we'd a good few years in that, that Ford Fiesta van. All right, it was a good bit of crack. It was hurling folklore with the young lads for the first couple of years anyway. Like, but I had to move on eventually.
Talking of hurling folklore, Flor, county final day, Park Equive, O'Donovan Rossa, Lismire. You saved the best to last. What a performance! Like, kind of, what are your, when I mention that final now, what stands out to you straight away? What's the memory that you reach for?
I got about 4 or 5 different wides. So
Yeah, the truth there.
yeah, the truth is, I hit about 4 or 5 wides that day. Like, my radar was off. I know we always have to think of the negative things, but again, I suppose we were like, it was just like for us as hurlers to play in Parky Queeve, like, we were, that never entered our dreams. Like, it was just special. Like, this is where you go to see Munster finals, down through the years. This is where you see Cork and all your heroes play on, and all of a sudden we were on that pitch. Like, so I think that was just the thrill of that. It just made it more special. Like, it made our day more special. Just a lot of wides. I rewatched it. I think we got about 15 wides in the first half. Like, I must have hit about half of them. But I think the second half then, and Alan really turned it on. Like, so my brother as well came on, and that was nice. Kevin came on, and he got a goal and a point as well. So he was very unlucky. So I was happy for him to play. Like, and I'd always, my mother saying it, like, about my dad. He said, like, geez, he wasn't this happy on his wedding day, So he had a massive smile in his face after the game. So, like, so yeah, a brilliant family occasion. There was so many families involved. Getting to play in Park Equive, as it was then, like, and just, I suppose, the fact that we're so far up, we could, really enjoy it. Even though, like, it was well over with 10 minutes to go, like, when that final whistle went, like, it was like we just won by 1 point, because it was just a massive joy just burst out, and it's all like, it was just, we're like big children up there.
I'm taking what's written in this anniversary program as gospel, Flower, right? So it says, after his 10 wides in the final in the following season, he was quickly moved to centre back position. So was that the start of the second part of your career? So when you moved back to field?
Yeah, I think the lads quickly copped on, So centre back kind of keep me far away from the goal line. So I'm kind of there ever since. So.
Oh, it's class, Even Rob, when you think of that county final and the win, what was it like to win the county title with those fellas around you? Like, you really become a kind of a band of brothers, and a triumph like that kind of binds you together forever. Like, you could meet, you'd a reunion now after 20 years, but in another 20 years down the line, like, you'll always be tied together by the memories that you created for the whole town and the club back in 2004. And here we are 20 years on, and we're still talking about it, and we'll talk about another 10 years time. So it's that bond that's brought you together. Like, can you feel that? Like, like, it's just,
oh yeah, no, like, and that's, yeah, definitely, you're right, Kieran. Like, the hurlers are very tight and skip, and like, we have a small group, but like every Christmas there's a meet up in the Pav, and almost a good half of that panel still turns up and plays a game of hurling out in the AstroTurf. And like, it's obviously helped. Like, I have 3 brothers in the team. Like, my dad has obviously been involved in the hurling for the years. We have a lovely photo on the sideline of Parky Key of us after winning the match with the cup. Just up at home. Florey obviously had a couple of brothers. There was 3 or 4 Cahans. There was a couple of Cotters, so laced with brothers and family connections right throughout it. But even at that, like, you know, Flor wrote a really nice piece in the book about the courage it takes to, you know, to play hurling in a football stronghold. And you know, even we have an awful lot of core lads who come in and play with us. We have an awful lot of Welland Rovers lads who used to play with us. We have Castlehaven lads. There's Kilmacabey players, and you know, it really speaks to like the ethos of GA and the participation is what it's all about. And you spoke at the start just about, you know, what it was like coming in playing hurling as a young fella. We just wanted to hurl, and you know, I'd say the same thing to any parent of any young lad out there. If you want to hurl, just go hurling. Like it's the best sport to play as a young person, and like whatever about us being able to play it as it's our own club. If you're coming in from an outside club, it's more difficult again. So, you know, we had a core man playing for a centre back, we Kilmacabey players in the panel, and you know, we Dermot full forward. But like the other thing then about Skibbereen, like Skibbereen is very unique in that at the time anyway, there were three senior football teams playing at Skibbereen, like Soil Rovers and Castlehaven. They're bouncing it, and they'd all, you know, a lot of them would work in town and come into town, go to school in town or whatever. So trying to keep hurling going in that situation, it's just everyone talks about West Cork being football stronghold, but Skibbereen is a real football stronghold, you know. So just the drive and the tightness of the group, it's definitely something that's there, and even still to this day, some of the other lads would say that the culture in the hurlers is very strong. And you can definitely see it, and you can see it from the celebrations we had last weekend, 20 years on.
Rob's after making a great point there, Alan, in terms of what this meant for skip hurling. Could you sense it at the time, just how important this was for hurling in the club?
Oh yeah, it was massive, you know. I suppose even going up in the day now, I kind of commented last night the amount of flags and kind of signs are up driving. Like we got a bus. We never went to the bus before the matches, and we took a bus up there, and there was buses, there was flags everywhere, like coming up towards the viaduct, and they were hanging off bridges and stuff like that. Like they're kind of things that stick in my mind. And like I'm going to Park that day, and you know, it was used in playing in Park and I was trying to kind of be focused, and I made myself. I never looked into the stand during the game until the game was over. And when you look in to see the crowd of skid people, first of all, now there was a junior final on after, so there was actually a massive crowd inside there. Like, you know, we finished in front of thousands, but the amount of skid people there that we wouldn't even have connected with hurling, like, you know, the amount of kids from the school and everything, like, you know, it was massive at the time. Like, and we got a load of pictures afterwards, and we printed them up for last Saturday night when we were looking. We're kind of celebrating it, and even just go to the grown up since, but older people, and it was a massive occasion. Like, you know, it actually kind of it seemed to sweep along the town because we wouldn't have thought that we would have got that kind of support at all. But like there was a massive skip crowd there, and they were all waiting for us off the pitch inside down by the underneath the old Parky Queeve. Like, so we got great pictures inside there, the homecoming then and everything. Like, it was just it was a massive thing done for days, like bonfires and everything. Like, we won again in 2013, and it was nothing like it. You know, it was a special day. Like, that was a special win in that we won a game we probably shouldn't have won. That we were up against a really good team, and I don't know, we kind of stole it in a way. Like, but this game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh was just for our first win. It was massive, and it was a massive boost to hurling and skib, really. Like, you know.
Flor, just to get your thoughts on that, like I said, the bond between the team and the town. We kind of see it now with the O'Donovan Rossa ladies team. Like, the community's really bought into this team, you know, following it every step of the way. And it seemed very much the same back then. Like, the town really got behind the hurlers in what you were trying to do off the back of the heartbreak. But that bond that kind of binds you together. Can you give me your take and your sense of that?
Yeah, I suppose, like, I kind of wrote there about, you know, my memory of the year is coming down with the longs, like with the cars full of us coming down, and you know, excited about the year ahead. Um, you know, and just as Rob said, the band of brothers that we had, like, there in the families, and that we're the odd, you know, it was always this kind of, we're a club within a club, like, you know, and up against it to keep hurling going, like, so. And so that kind of always bonded us together. And as Alan said, like, I suppose, you know, this was a town that was used to seeing, you know, the footballers in county finals, you know, 92, and then again when they played Castlehaven, like, and so again it was different for the town, you know, to see all of a sudden the hurlers, you know, take the main stage, like, and it was something new, and they got behind us, and as Alan said, you know, the amount of people there, it was great. Like, we've got to county final since, two since, and there hasn't been the same, you know, it just hasn't been the same, like, you know. But as you said, you know, I think it was just maybe they saw our heartbreak, maybe they saw us, just on a special road. We broke our glass ceiling. Like Skibbereen team hadn't won a county hurling title ever before. Like, so we kind of broke the glass ceiling that day. And again, look, it's brilliant seeing the ladies now. Like, they're shortening the winter for the whole town. Like, and this is the second year on they're doing it. Like, and they're creating memories that they'll be remembering, and like us in 20 years time as well. Like, so I hope they're embracing it.
Rob, does that almost kind of see what the ladies are doing now, almost kind of spark what you did 20 years ago? That same kind of, does it evoke the same feelings, to see a team going on a run and just do something special for the town?
Well, the year after we won the county junior B, they brought in the All-Ireland Junior B, and that was the biggest regret I have, is that we didn't get a crack at that. Geez, what they're doing is amazing. They're heading up to Galway now next week, so we'll all be able to supporting them. It's brilliant, yeah. In fairness to them, it's those kind of odysseys. Like John Hayes wrote a great article in the Star this week about his time at Ross as well, and those kind of odysseys they're special and they're to be cherished, definitely. It was a bit of an odyssey for us, traveling up to Portkeeve and going around the county playing in the county championship, which we had never done before, and there was it 100 years since Skip had even been in a county hurling final. So we had our own bit of an odyssey then, but definitely not in the same league as what the ladies are up to now this year and last year.
And Rob, you're still soldiering. You're still lining out. What's the hope, or how would you assess where Skibbereen hurling is right now, and what's your kind of short term hope for the team and the club?
I'm sure we're going at it again this year. Yeah. Kevin Cotter is recruiting any hurlers he can, and we're going for our hat trick of junior B counties, the three of us here on the screen anyway. So yeah, look, we've been very competitive the last couple of years. There, we were unlucky we lost to Ballyclaw actually twice, but didn't we 2 years in a row? We lost by a point there the year before last. In semi-finals and stuff like that. So we've been knocking on the door, and again, it's just about allowing young lads to hurl. Like, I would have hated not to have the opportunity to hurl, so that's why we're all playing. We're playing because we love it, but we really just want to give people the opportunity to hurl. And you see people coming over who are good athletes, and they're not footballers. They mightn't be footballers, but hurling is their first love and their first sport. And it does exist in West Cork, and it's great to see it being kept going. And I think that's why we do it. We play for the love of it, just for the competitive sport, the participation. Winning is obviously a bonus you can get with that. And we'll be definitely doing everything we can this year for it. But first and foremost, it's just about being able to hurl.
And Alan, isn't it great to see kind of 20 years on, year reunion has put O'Donovan Rossa hurlers back in the headlines again, back in the headlines for all the right reasons as well. So you'd hope it just kind of sparked interest. Anyone listening to this podcast who wants to go hurling, they kind of know, who should they get in contact with?
Alan's frozen, is he?
You lost it there, Alan.
I'm here again, yeah. I suppose we've noticed a big difference even this year now with the success of the Cork hurlers. The people that were coming back hurling, they've gone away from everything, so like hurling is in a good place, and we'd hope now that a bit of coverage for us and us 20 years ago that we'd be getting fellas back into it. We're trying to get the message through to the younger hurlers over the last couple of years, to kind of keep playing away during your teenage years. I know they get under pressure and they have to kind of decide or whatever, but it's a lovely option to have when they're older to play. Like, everyone will be playing football, have the option playing hurling as well. If they give up hurling too early, they won't be able to pick up the hurling so easily. But if you keep it going there as long as possible, keep it up to 17 or 18 if you can. You can always take a break and pick it up again. But we have a lot of fellas now who've come back playing hurling now, let's say from the senior footballer or junior footballers. Football it's gone serious, and I suppose they've enjoyed playing hurling. It's a bit of a break, it's not as serious. It's a totally different game altogether, so we'd be hoping to keep as many fellas in the club involved as much as possible. Like, play your football, just football, but keep following up as much as you can, and yourself option. If you walk away at hurling too early, you'll never back. But we're just kind of saying to young lads, keep it going. It's times. We just won't have the kind of the history of it. You get a new generation of hurlers come through at the moment. We can't keep going forever, the few of us lads here. We'll keep going for another couple of years. We're enjoying it. We love it. But it's great to see some young fellas come through now, and build a new team over the next couple of years. Will be great.
Oh, good stuff. Cheers, Alan. And finally, Flor, what's your hope and ambition for O'Donovan Rossa hurlers going forward?
Yeah, I suppose like the lads love still playing, maybe we're a bit deluded, but it's a good delusion. But yeah, I just want the young lads, maybe, Colin, my brother, would have trained some of those guys, underage and stuff like that. And I suppose I want them to get a small taste of what we experienced, get them to a county final. We've lost the last two county semi-finals by a point. And I'd just like to see, look, there's big days can be had with Junior B, Skibbereen hurling. It's the confined competition is very good. It's played a few months before the main championship kicks off, so there's a window there. The lads can focus on the hurling before the football championship kicks off. And I just love to get the team, get those younger lads, get them confidence in the hurling and get them to experience even just a small taste of what we had 20 years ago. And if they can get that, we might hook them again they might stay with it for another 10 years, which would be great.
And a very final question to you, Rob. You were Kings of November once. Can you be Kings of November again?
Well, county final isn't in November anymore, Kieran. It's in August now, I think, as we know the last couple of years we've been knocking on the door. Sure, anything has happened. We've been. I think the way the championship is structured now, the way it's early in the season, it actually suits us because, as the lads are saying, some of the footballers can fall in with us, and they really enjoy it. Like a few of the senior footballers played with us there on the last couple of years, and they've been a big help, and they've loved it as well themselves. So we've a good shot, we've a good team, we'll definitely be competitive, and who knows where the summer will take us yet.
No, good stuff, lads. Come here. Thanks for joining us in just chatting about I suppose 20 years ago. One question I forgot to ask you, Ellen. You scored 2-8 in the county final back in 2004, but you were moved back into gold soon after. What happened?
I think I flopped straight after that. No, I suppose I would have played in goal. I would have played my hurling as a young fella in Ballincollig, and I'd played in goal the whole way up through. And when I actually packed in hurling for a couple of years when I was in my late teens, and when I came down to Skib, I wanted to kind of get back hurling, but I wanted to try out field. So I hurled away for, I suppose in the end I got nearly 10 years outfield with Skib. But I suppose looking back, it was always a troubled position for us goalie. Like, we were chopping and changing the whole time. When we were looking back through the paper articles, we probably went through 5 or 6 goalies in 2002, 2003 alone, 2002, 2004. And it was always kind of to and fro and to and fro. And we went up to junior A, and we were extremely competitive straight away. Like, we should have made a West Cork final our first year in 2005. We drew with Kilbrittain in a semi-final game we should have won, and we were thereabouts. But I suppose the lads always in 2006 they asked me to go back in there, and look, I don't care where I play once I'm playing. I'd like to play maybe a couple more years out, but I suppose it's probably 30 at that stage. So back into goal, and yeah, there I am. That's why I made
50 years later, still there.
Yeah.
But it's great because, like, if I there's no way I could play outfield. Just I'm well beyond that now at this stage. But I love the fact that I'm in goal now. I still love going to matches and to trainings and everything, and I can stay involved. And look, I'm looking forward to the day when a young fella comes up and pushes me out of it. To be, and I'd love to even just stay on and be able to work on the goalie coming through. There's a couple coming up along through the teams now, like, such as to be nice to hand on the baton eventually.
No, good stuff. Come here, lads. Thanks again for the chat. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Good stuff, Kieran. Thanks, lads. See you, Kieran.